Hello, my name is Denise. When I was diagnosed, I was training to do a ride that raises money for children with cancer specifically. And I was training for the ride and I was dragging. My doctor said, "You're just probably tired and overdoing it." Well, fast forward to the day of the ride, and I was violently ill at the lunch stop. And 2 days later, I was in my doctor's office with him telling me, "I'm so sorry I didn't see you 3 months ago. I believe you have cancer." I was diagnosed in 2005 with stage 4 throat and neck cancer, and I was given 3 months to live if I didn't move exceptionally fast. It was awful. It was really, really rough. And there were days I thought, I can't do this. It had a huge impact on my life. It still does in a lot of ways, but I have persevered.
So I'm a father of one 11-year-old boy, a husband to a wife named Tanya. Yeah, so I've always had sinus issues, even as a young kid. So um, I was seeing an ENT, an ear, nose, and throat, trying to figure out what was going on because I was having some additional issues other than just my regular allergies. And you just know if something's going on. And I just kept telling my doctor, and there's something wrong. We need to dig a little deeper. And he kept doing tests, and we just couldn't find anything just because of where the cancer is ultimately located, right? So luckily, I had a lump on my neck grow, so that's what triggered the biopsy and ultimately finding out that I had cancer. I definitely wasn't expecting it. It's one thing you never want to hear is that you have cancer, but he, as all these doctors are amazing people, he let me know in a very sensitive way, in a caring way, let me know that they would do anything that they can to help me out.
Well, my name is Lori. I live in Jacksonville Beach. The diagnosis was actually on December the 18th, 2020. It was by accident. Um, I was going to see a cardiologist for a routine cardiology test. And I finally said, "Doctor, what are you looking what?" He said, "Do you have a sore throat?" I said, "No, sir." He said, you have swollen glands, don't you?" And I said, "No, sir." I said, "Doctor, you don't understand. I'm as healthy as a horse." And he kind of just smiled and nodded and said, "Well, something's going on. We're going to do a biopsy." And I thought, oh. Well, we did the biopsy at stage 3 throat cancer. And it changed my life. So I think the first thing is the importance of getting associated with, an organization like Spunk, because they provide so many different resources.
So I'm Melissa. I was actually in the market for a new dentist here in my community. And I'd been having some weird sensations on my tongue, but had just finished a year's long braces treatment. And I thought, man, I wonder if one of those liners has irritated my tongue. Having seen the dentist, he noticed some faint gray lines on my tongue during that very first visit and recommended that I see an oral surgeon. By the time I was in the care of the oral surgeon, I was given a diagnosis of moderate dysplasia, which was explained to me as being a pre-cancer. It wasn't that moderate dysplasia then became cancer. And so from there, everything just sort of snowballed at that time. My son was only 7 years old. So I went in with the mind frame of like, do whatever you have to do to keep me alive.
Briefly, I'm a wife, mother, and sister, and stepmother. We would go to the American Dance Festival, which is here in town during the summer. It's based here. And when the theater got cold, I would start having difficulty breathing. About the same time, I noticed that it felt like it was always running.
My name is Katie. I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. Howdy, y'all. I've lived in New York since 2009. I moved here to pursue a career in dance. I went in thinking it was a canker sore or some sort of abscess that needed draining or something. I also had some pain sort of in the center of my tongue. I was diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma of the tongue. I didn't even know there was such a thing as tongue cancer. It's been over 2.5 years since my diagnosis.
My name is Jeff, and I was first diagnosed in 2011. I was having trouble breathing through my right nostril. I had a big lump on my neck, a swollen lymph gland. So they did a biopsy and it came back HPV positive, squamous cell cancer.
Hi, I'm Scott, homegrown Nebraska boy. I was actually brushing my teeth and I had kind of some phlegm in my throat and it kind of had a nagging cough, but it wasn't serious. But I noticed a small spot on one of my tonsils. I have HPV 16 oral cancer. Had no idea what the treatments were going to be. There was a lot of other questions that had to be answered. You know, what's treatment look like? Does that mean I'm going to lose part of my oral cavity? What does that mean for the future of my health and well-being? And I'm thinking, I can take this on. I can take on cancer and the treatments that go with it. I'm an HPV 16 cancer survivor of 6 years.
Because it's a lot to take, right? So, yeah, the biggest is just trying to take care of yourself mentally, physically, and knowing you're going to be okay. You know, just don't get down in the dumps. Just stay positive.